So, the intro to this song, I'm going to say, and I reckon many other people will agree with me, that the intro to this song has one of the greatest guitar intros of all time. When you first hear it, you're like, what the hell are those notes? What chords is he playing? What scale? The weird intervals going on. And it is played by one of the greatest guitarists of all time, one of the greatest guys to pick up the instrument. Have a listen. Josie by Steely Dan, played by the incredible, amazing guitar player that is Larry Carlton. I remember hearing this when I was a teenager. I mean, I can't say I'm a massive Steely Dan aficionado, you know, but I kind of got into them because of the guitar players they had, you know, Larry Carlton, Dean Parks, and hearing about these great session players and whatnot. I remember hearing probably Kid Charlemagne first, but then hearing this and like, what the hell is that? And then Larry played the first my mate Larry. Larry Carlton played the first Eric Clapton Crossroads Festival. I remember getting the DVD for Christmas and seeing it. I was like, oh my goodness, you know, what is that sound? And his touch is just, you know, his touch is Larry Carlton. And I started going a bit of a dive again the other day on Larry Carlton and just picking stuff up and whatnot. And I was listening to this song again and I was like, oh man, it's so good. So it's wacky, but it's not as scary as when you dive into it, it's not as scary as you think. There's power chords in it. All right. So that beginning bit, now, yes, I am using a 345. Obviously, Larry Carlton is Mr. 335 or 335 as the Americans say it. In the UK, we say the numbers 335, 345. We just do. So for me, as I'm a Brit, it's a 345. Anyway, and I got this, and I'm just going into. I've got my tuner on. Hang on a minute. And I'm just going into my Hampstead, and I did kick on the TC Electronics when I did that. So it's in the key of E. Well, they're playing like an E minor little groove there, but then that's very much E major. So this beginning bit, you got an E to a D, which is a minor seventh interval. And I used to always go and kind of do like that. About an hour before hitting record, I was listening to it. I was like, no, those notes are ringing together. So, and I think he's barring it there. So on the second fret, full string, playing the E, and then playing that D, and then keep that bar on that second fret. And we're doing hybrid picking here as well. So E and D, and then we got a G sharp, and then a C sharp going on there, right? Really interesting, you know, very kind of this modal kind of sound, isn't it? Kind of almost Phrygian, I'm gonna go with. And then this is when I was saying there's power chords. So we got what's that? An E flat and a B flat. So it's like an E5 to an E5, an E flat power chord to an E power chord. So you're hearing these weird sounds, you're like, oh, what's that? You know, it's a power chord. You know what I mean? And there, actually, I didn't use a pick at all. I just realised I used my second and third fingers going on there. Then does those weird intervals again. And then E flat, and then a B, and then slide into a D power chord. So there's your B power chord. 2 and 4 on the 5th and 4th strings, and then 5 and 7 on the same strings. And I think he slides that. And the rhythm changes a little bit there. So if there's my beat. Alright, you're kind of going on the offbeat a little bit there. So kind of listen to it, get it in your head, and then put it on the guitar. And then you've got this bam, now, this weird stuff going on. But again, when you dive into it, it's not as weird as you think. So we're going to play an E, an A, and a G sharp. It's kind of like an E sus to an E major going on there. So E, so I use my second finger on the E note, 4th string, 2nd fret. And I use my ring finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then plays that G sharp. Then we go in here to a G, F sharp, then a B. Very strange when you put it all together. Now, I believe it was Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, the Steely Dan, who got writing credits for this. So I'm assuming Larry didn't come up with this. It's all the crazy mind of the Steely Dan guys. And this is crazy. You know, it's so obtuse. Let's use that word. So when you put it together, and then we got these chords going on. So we got this beautiful series of chords going on here, which is, they just sound amazing. Again, it's absolute genius, this. So we've got this first chord here, which is an F major 7 chord. So 3 on the F note, 4th string, 3rd fret, and then 1st finger on the C note, 2nd string, 1st fret, and then open 3rd and open 1st strings. And then we got an F sharp, 7 sharp 9 chord, Hendrix chord basically, which is F sharp, 4th string, 4th fret, 3rd string, 3rd fret, and then with our pinky bar in the top 2 strings on the 5th fret. Alright. And then we got a D chord of a G in the bass, but it's kind of an octave G. So there's basically your D chord, putting in that G on the bass there. But they're obviously, it's just a chromatic there. Alright, so. And then the cool chord, which is a A flat major 13 chord, I think. Yeah, we'll go with that. get a chord, check the chord book and see if I'm wrong. So it's definitely A flat. Yeah, A flat 13. Yeah. So we're going to be 4th string 6th fret, 3rd string 5th fret, little finger on the 2nd string 6th fret, and then 1st finger on that G on the 1st string 3rd fret. So. And I kind of unnecessarily, but it's just a natural thing, I bar on the kind of up to the 4th string and that 3rd fret there. You don't really need to, you can just be on the 1st string there. I think through kind of doing stuff like that, I naturally do it in, you know, in other aspects of playing. But it's absolute genius. Well, they're jazz guys, aren't they? So they're harmonic their harmonic knowledge is just on a much maturer level than, I guess, traditional pop songs. You know, your traditional pop songs are kind of taking your harmonized major scale, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and you know, you've got, if you're in E, so E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. So you may be crazy and keep the A and put a B in the bass. Or it may do what I just did there, make it dominant. But you can kind of hear where it's all coming from. This idea, like I say, is very modal. I didn't want to go too much into theory, but my ear is drawing to that Phrygian. Sorry, my battery went on my camera. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm hearing that Phrygian kind of sound, you know, especially there you got the classic kind of E flat, you know, sound there. And not quite as Spanishy as that, but it's giving me that vibe. It's not sounding, you know, super sweet like Happy Birthday, is it? You know, so, and that's the thing, you know, I think it's cool to hear this stuff and it's like, oh, that sounds like that, and then dive into the theory of it, instead of like learning all this theory but not knowing what that theory sounds like. You know what I mean? So to me, this sounds kind of, you know, almost spy movie kind of sound, you know, so that Phrygian type sound. Those chords. And then we go into this E minor 7. Just bounce on that for a bit. Now I always thought it went to this bit, but it doesn't, it just stays on this. And then you got the little melody line, which is all E major pentatonic, a shape 4. But you know, name me another intro that does that in a great, you know, I was going to say a pop song, but it's more of a jazz pop song, I guess. You know, it's pop because it's popular. It's just brilliant. And it's good to learn, get your fingers, start hearing these sounds, getting used to playing these sounds. Thank you, Mr. Email. But getting used to hearing these sounds and playing these sounds. And then your ear starts getting used to where these sounds are on the guitar, you know, and playing these weird chords. Well, I say weird, just a bit more advanced chords. You know, you think of a 7 sharp 9 chord as the Hendrix chord, but it is used a hell of a lot in jazz songs. You know, start learning a few jazz standards and you start seeing that in there. When it gets to Christmas time, learn a load of old Christmas songs, and which are basically just jazz pop songs, you know. And then you start, okay, next time you start mucking around the guitar, instead of playing a D like that, just put the G in the bass and just see where it goes. What happens if I move that here? Oh, that's nice. What happens if I move it here? Oh, that makes me think of like Steve Vai or Lydian kind of thing. And then resolve to that. Hopefully you get what I'm saying, but it's a genius intro piece of music, guitar part, and yeah, and played by Larry Carlton. I believe Larry Carlton on the record. on the credits, it says Larry Carlton and Dean Parks on it. I always associate it with Larry Carlton. And Larry even says at that Crossroads festival, you may recognise my guitar from this, and then goes into that. So I'm saying it's Larry Carlton. I'm not saying, I'm assuming it's Larry. I'm probably wrong. There, please, the Steely Dan aficionados out there, correct me. I'm ready for the correction. I'm up for it. I'm man enough. I can take it. Okay? I'm just showing the love of how great this guitar part is. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I am sweating my little tushy off right now because it is so hot in this country right now and I have no AC in this studio. So feel for me here, and like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also, if you'd be inclined, check out my website, mikebradleymusic.com. You can get some lessons on there and a pentatonic course and whatnot. And I'm on Patreon as well. Actually, and talking of chords, I've done recently a series of video lessons, Patreon only, looking at some cool chords and chord progressions and whatnot and dissecting them. Anyway, I've been you, you've been you. I've been me and you've been... I've been me, you've been you. It's really hot. I'm really hot. Thank you for your love and support. Really appreciate it. I'll see you next one. Mike Bradley signing out. Bye.